Hello, everyone. I'm Gloria, founder and executive director of Hope Booth, a nonprofit bringing barrier-free emotional support directly to communities. We believe that mental health support should be accessible as a park bench or how a telephone once was for people who needed to make connection to their loved ones and to someone else on the other line. So this May for Mental Health Awareness Month, we are so incredibly honored to welcome someone who has lived her life with radical authenticity. As a performer, a trailblazer, and truly a human being navigating all of it in the public view, which can sometimes be very difficult. She's got all the accolades. She's an Academy Award winner, a Tony nominated actress. There's probably more things I don't even know about. She's a dancer, a singer, an actor. Every day I learn something new. But beyond the accolades, she's someone who believes, as what we do at Hope Booth, that your vulnerability is your power. So if you could please welcome our May Mental Health Ambassador, Ariana Debose. How are
Hey, I'm good, Mama. I'm so good. It's a beautiful day. The sun is shining.
you?
I have air in my lungs.
I love
Hey,
it. What more could you want? A little dance, a little
I
excitement.
know, right?
Get
Like,
live.
correct. It was like I'm someone who likes to feel their life while they're in it, and I'm like, the vibes are good today.
Yeah,
Yeah.
love that. So Ariana and I first connected technically last December after the Laureate
Hmm.
Women of Worth Gala in 2025, where I was
Yeah.
honored as a recipient, and she performed, and it was
Yeah.
amazing.
Oh, thanks, boo.
That night sparked a connection to our work. Clearly, we didn't get the chance to actually physically meet in the moment, but I'd
Right.
like you to share your story of how you first connected with Hope Booth and what made you say yes to even, hey, let's continue this endeavor of
Yeah.
May Mental Health Awareness Ambassador.
Oh, I loved it. I saw you on the carpet that night and I was like, who is that? Like,
Oh,
your energy was just so cool. And like I was aware of the work because of course when I show up for an organization or a gala or an event, I do my research. But I
yeah.
was like, wait a second. I had trouble placing you. But then I saw you go on stage and I was like, that's her. I want to hear what she has to say. And you spoke with such passion about making mental health free and accessible, and I just thought the concept, the idea, the execution of Hope Booth, so creative and so authentic, and a solution right there in front of you, and you dared greatly and just said, "I'm going to do this. I'm going to try. I'm going to ask the questions and just start doing the work." Because I
Yeah.
think sometimes, even with our mental health journeys or in our careers or anything, it's just about starting.
Yeah.
Because if you start, the path unfolds, right? Or
Yeah.
at least that's my personal practice.
Um,
And I loved what you shared with us, and you told this story about a mother who had reached out to you, who was sharing about her son who had suffered with depression and anxiety, and he found a Hope Booth,
yeah.
and it
Yeah.
saved his life that day. And I was like, we need more of that. We
Yeah.
just need more of that. It makes the world a better place.
Yeah. Absolutely. And even just to your point of like, sometimes all it takes is one step forward. I think we can be
Yes.
so overwhelmed with, oh my goodness, I don't know how I'm going to make it. I don't know
Yes.
how I'm going to get there. But it's like, just focus on the next step. That is the only
Yeah.
sustainable solution.
I
Um,
agree.
for all your encouraging words about our organization. It always means the world that people see us and see the work that we're doing because we really do care about making hope and help free and accessible. But
Yeah,
enough.
you do. And you shine bright. Y'all shine bright. It's like a beacon.
Hey, I when we first started the Hope Booth, kind of the concept of why we decided to go with telephone booths is because I remember as a kid driving throughout Atlanta, it was so easy to find a telephone booth at night
Yes.
because of the light
Yeah.
that shines through it. We thought, I mean, perfect depiction of hope. It's light in the midst of darkness. What does it look like to create and establish these beacons in cities and communities for people to always have access to mental health care? And so, I mean, it's just amazing
Yes.
that you recognize that. But enough about us. Let's
Yes.
talk about you. You
Okay. All right.
have an incredible story, truly a well of depth, and you've learned so much over your career. You've moved through some of the highest highs in this industry that you're in, and that the industry has to offer. And you've also spoken honestly about the journey that it's taken to get there, what it costs from you emotionally, mentally. And I'm just curious, how have those experiences shaped the way you actually take care of yourself now, today?
Oh, that's a good question. I think, my relationship with my mental health has been, kind of like start stop. I would find different modalities or practices that I thought, were
Right.
helping me take care of myself every day. I've done the talk therapy and all the different stuff,
Yeah.
but I think my life like shifting and changing like 4 years ago really was the strong pivot. Before that, I really kind of relied on dance to be my expression of myself and to help me channel whatever I was feeling into that art, because you could take your broken heart and make it into art. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
um but I think working in an industry that deals with rejection on the daily, right? It's very easy to get down or to start taking things the wrong way, making them personal when it's just business, or because it feels so personal.
Right. Right.
Finding those outlets, finding the support that I needed to understand the journey, to understand the reactions, or just help understand my own feelings in my little tiny body, um, became really really important as I guess you say, like, was on the treadmill of success,
Yeah.
because I felt like I was running
Yeah.
for a minute, and I was, and it was thrilling, but it also brought its own challenges. And I think, in your adulthood, you get to this space where you want to share every little thing you possibly can share,
Mhm.
but I think sometimes, the people around you can't always hold what it
Mhm.
is you have to share.
Yeah.
So navigating how those groups or those friendships shift and change in the midst of massive radical change.
Yeah.
It's a very human thing, and I think we've all had our own experience of that.
Mhm.
But it was a time in my life where I felt really alone,
Yeah.
and I just don't wish that on anyone.
Yeah.
It was as exciting and shiny as one's life can be. On the inside, you never know what someone's going through, and I present very confidently,
Yeah.
or at least I like to think so.
Yeah.
um, but I was facing some real challenges, and I tried so hard to muscle through. Like in the theater, we're just like, the show must go on, baby. Like
Yeah.
one, two, three. And there came a point where I was like, the show's not going on. The show is stopping.
This is
We
not.
are holding the curtain. This
Yeah.
is not human. Like, no, thank you. I quit the play.
Yeah.
I need to lay down.
Mhm.
I need to like process
Yeah.
what is actually going on in my life before I totally burn out and don't want to do the thing that I love.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, because I also think humans innately want to do the thing that gives our life purpose,
Mhm.
right? We're all looking for our purpose.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, that's like a little bit about it. Like I believe so fervently that it's like, if you can take care of what's going on the inside, then that becomes a reflection of your outer world. And I also believe it's like, in order to feel all the joy that life has to offer, you you have to find those, hopefully can find those tools of support
Yeah.
that make you feel less alone, because no, like, the only way through is together.
Exactly.
It's just the only way through is together. And that's that to me is like the greatest secret of life. Is that once I figured that out, I was like, oh, we're actually not meant to do this whole thing in solitude.
Yes.
That it's sure, if we like our solitude, that's great. We must refill our cups.
Yeah.
But community
Yeah.
and fellowship and connection, like, I think that's the secret.
Yeah, that's so beautiful that you mentioned that, because I think sometimes we struggle to differentiate what it means to be a human being and a human doing. Like
Oh, honey,
we live
yes.
our whole lives doing, doing, doing. We center our identity around doing, doing, doing. And then once we hit that brick wall where we realize we can no longer perform, we don't know who we
Yes.
are anymore. And then it causes,
Yeah.
and then we're like, wait, who am I? What do I do? How do I even ask for help? Because at times, when we're high achievers, we can sometimes put community on the back burner because
Correct.
we've got a goal, we've got an objective, we've
Yes.
got to get going. I have an end in mind, and we miss out on the beauty of the healing balm that
Hmm.
community, even just like you said,
Yeah.
is so important. It is like, I think sometimes people think it's a matter of, well, I'm an introvert, I'm an extrovert, it's preference. No, community is at the fiber and core of our mental health. Like it is so essential to
I
mental
so agree.
in general. And so I'm curious for you, like the moments where you felt at your lowest and you felt alone, where you felt like I have to carry everything on my own. What did asking for support and help look like? Did it feel like a contradiction to being strong? Like
Yes.
what shifted for you?
The long and the short of that is yes, it felt like a contradiction to
Yeah.
being strong. Not that it was like, pardon me, a form of weakness by any stretch of the mind, but it just, there's a pride that I felt in like being independent for so long. It's like I moved to New York when I was 19 and
Mhm.
just like did it. I hustled. I was trying to like get to know people, hopefully let them get to know me, and then just try and get a job.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
um, but it is I didn't know how to ask for help. In fact, I didn't realize I didn't know how to ask for help until probably about 7 months ago. My mother passed away. She had a 3-year battle with cancer, and when she was passing, I stepped up to the plate and I took care of my mom and I advocated for my mom, and I took care of my family.
Yeah.
Um, but I realized even in that process, I didn't know how to ask for help. I was hoping someone would see it,
Yeah.
and they did. In the aftermath of that, as I started my grieving, sometimes asking for help became like, hey, I don't think I'm good today. Can you just come sit with me?
Yeah.
That's how I started. Just like reaching out to a friend, like, can you just come sit with me? I'm trying to figure out what I'm feeling today.
That's good.
And that took a lot for me
Yeah.
because I am the strong friend. I have a goal. I
Yeah.
am a high achiever. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh no, I didn't realize I wasn't okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And then slowly it became, oh, I think I'm going to try grief counseling. And
Yeah.
that has been really helpful.
That's,
Um, and honestly, it's funny. My whole job as an actor is listening.
yeah.
Like I listen to people professionally.
Hmm.
It's a great gig. And two things, I didn't realize I wasn't listening to myself.
Mm.
And then once I was able to listen, I was like, I had to retrain myself in the context of my grief to
Yeah.
hear the people around me
Yeah.
because it gets so loud.
Yeah.
Um, but in the listening, I really found my healing.
That's so good. I love that you said that because I feel like everyone has that defining moment, like a specific moment. It's not always dramatic. It's sometimes pretty quiet and pretty calm,
Yeah.
where something inside of you says, "Oh, I need to take this seriously." And it's very clear what that moment was for you. And sometimes we can harbor on the fact that we wish it came sooner. I'm like, oh, I wish I had
Sure.
started this journey so much longer. But I always tell people just be encouraged that you began. The fact that
Yeah.
you're alive today gives you the opportunity to course correct. I think there's a
Yeah.
beauty in that. And I think sometimes too, when we meet people who are struggling with grief, we don't even know how to really show up for them. I think sometimes,
Right.
people struggle learning how to be a part of community. And you said it's as simple as someone coming to show up and just sit with
Yeah.
you. Presence matters so much more than anything else. I think, people can be overwhelmed
Yeah.
and feel like we have to perform or we're asking you to come and
Yes.
give us all the right words. But like the beauty of just sitting in the tension, sitting in the pain, sitting in
Yeah.
like that can shift so many things.
Yes.
Your experience with grief counseling, what do you feel like that has brought out of you? How has that supported you specifically in this season of your life?
I think it's really allowed me to face my vulnerability.
Yeah.
Right? I've always been a person that has said like your vulnerability is your strength, right? Being able, your softness, it's not a weakness. Like It's the thing that makes you unique.
Mhm.
And but I don't think until that moment I had given myself space to actually sit in my own softness or sit in my own vulnerability.
Yeah.
And that has brought me a great deal of peace,
Mm.
you know, and acknowledging that it's a roller coaster.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are like, okay, I just want this grief to end.
Yeah.
And in the yeah, or or this anxiety, can it just go? I just want this anxiety to be gone.
Yeah.
Um, and the reality is it's a journey,
Yeah.
and much like life, you take it as it comes. If you can be brave enough to just feel it.
Yeah.
And that's, I don't know, it's been sort of like a reinitiation into feeling my life.
Yeah.
Because I also think, high achievers are people who are busy all the time, who are very goal oriented. It's very easy to, like you said, stop being present,
Yeah.
stop feeling your life.
Yeah.
And so all of these things are happening to you, but you can't feel them.
Yeah. That's so true.
Yeah, so that's been a real plus
Yeah.
for a positive side effect of my therapy.
Yeah. I love that. I mean, it's always so beautiful when we invite others into our story because I think sometimes it can feel intimidating because it's like, I don't know if you can handle all of these feelings and emotions.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a lot. And I think sometimes we can be overcome by that, but there are people who want to be a part of that journey. Just like you said, grief is
Yes.
a journey. It's not a one and done. Like
Mm-hmm.
the reason you're grieving is because this mattered to you. This
Yes.
mattered deeply to you. Your heart was connected to this. And even to your mom, like she was a
Yeah.
huge part of your life and will forever be a part of your life. Like you
Yeah.
are her legacy here on earth. And so there's an
Yeah.
element that even that weight that you carry, it doesn't just disappear overnight. It
Right.
doesn't go away. And so even
Yeah.
just finding healthy ways, because there's a lot of ways to grieve that are unhealthy, but there are healthy ways
100.
to grieve as well.
Yes.
What have you found what are some of the healthy ways you have found to grieve in this season of your life?
Oh, I love a journal, honey. I love a journal. I do a lot of writing.
Yes.
I color a lot. I do
Mhm.
enjoy coloring. Um, I I go on long walks. I like to be in nature. I
Yeah.
like to be by the water. I live in Manhattan. So
Yeah.
when you say nature, you've got like a few choices. Central Park, any of the parks really. And either one of the rivers.
You don't have a lot of options.
Yeah, so great city, love this city, but like those are kind of the options. But I do spend a lot of time in nature because I've always it's very healing.
Yeah.
Like I am a tree hugger, toucher.
Yeah.
I will I will touch the tree and pray for my own grounding. I have no problem with it. I am not embarrassed by it.
Yeah.
So if you see a girl hugging a tree, it might be me.
Mind your business.
Um, yes, but those are some ways, just sort of
Good.
simple. It's simple, or even just trying to mindfully um, take care of myself. I enjoy cooking.
Yeah.
Whether or not the product of said cooking is good is another story. But the act of cooking,
Yeah.
like knowing what is going into my food,
That's so good.
that has worked for me.
Yeah.
I typically I gravitate towards the creative solutions,
Yeah.
and yeah,
That's
yeah.
beautiful. I think there is a beauty in play. Like life,
Oh, yeah,
life is too serious already. It's already so many demands, so many requests, so many
yeah.
responsibilities that I have found I have been struggling with my mental health. The thing that has freed me was reminding myself, what did I love as a child? And I thought
Mm,
it was biking. Got me a little bike and was biking around this.
yes.
And it was reading. Went back to reading and doing the things that bring you joy. Sometimes
Yeah.
can help significantly. And then another thing that I think helps significantly, even in the process of grief and mental health, outside of some of the beautiful things you shared, like journaling, which is Why didn't anyone tell me about that when I was a kid?
It's like just get it out of your body onto the page. You can burn it after you finish if you want. Doesn't matter. But just get it out. Yeah.
Things as simple as breathing. Like,
Oh, a good breathing exercise. Yes, honey.
learned that I didn't know how to breathe for so
Oh,
long in my life.
a nice box breath
And
exercise.
breath
Mm,
every morning, every evening, whenever you're feeling overcome, overwhelmed,
yes.
just pause and breathe. And I think one of the things I've been learning in life more than anything is how to slow down. One of the things
Yes.
our science board has been learning on the Hope Booth is just the reality that the most accessible way to regulate your nervous system is to
Yes.
slow down. Nothing.
Mm,
So we don't always have to have immediate access to therapy. We don't always have to have immediate access to a community. But you know what you have access to? Slowing down. You have access
yes.
to breathing. You have access to the very practical things. And so I always try to help people remember there are practical solutions and practical tools that you can utilize right here, right now, in the exact moment
Yes.
without having to wait for another solution. And it's changed my world and it's changed my life.
Oh, I
And
love
that's one of the
that.
things, Hope exists ultimately to meet people exactly where they
Where
are.
they are.
Exactly where
That's
they
what that's what I love about it. I'm just like you never like I said, like you never know what someone's going through. You never know exactly what they need, but to
Yeah,
be able to walk into the safe space of a phone booth
truly, truly.
and just like, you know what? I need a beat. Okay.
Yeah,
Let's figure out
yeah.
what my answer in this moment is right now. I
Yep.
love that.
How you feel in that moment? Because,
Yeah.
there's a lot of people overwhelmed in their mental health because you've got to make appointments. Then there's wait,
Yes.
then there's insurance, then there's can I
Mm-hmm.
And there's so many barriers. So when we were thinking of what does it look like to make hope and help free and accessible, we're thinking, how do we create something where there's no appointment, no wait list, no barrier, just support available right now in the moment for free in your community, whether you're at a school, whether you're at a
I love
bus,
that.
you're at a grocery store, whether you're in prison. Our hope is that there's no one who is worthy of going unseen. Everybody deserves to
Mm,
be affirmed. And so I'm curious, Ariana, even though you've
yeah.
never gotten a chance to go into a Hope booth
I
before,
know.
yet.
Yep.
If your younger version or a younger version of you had access to something like a Hope booth when you were struggling most throughout your life, what do you think it would have meant to her?
Oh, I think she probably would have, gotten through many of those years a touch more balanced.
Yeah,
It would have, it could have been a real answer to the processing of a lot of, how do I say this? I mean, there's long and the short of it. It's like, I was sad. And I didn't know it. But I was sad. But like it just would have, I think it would have helped me embrace my creativity even more.
yeah.
Um, Lord, go with me on this for a second.
I'm going with you.
I don't even know if it's highly relevant, but it just came into my head clear as day.
Okay.
I was at a dance convention. I think maybe I was 15.
Mhm.
And I loved to dance. That was my thing. Like, and the teacher said, "Ariana, you are not breathing."
Mm.
Going back to your point about breathing exercises and just being present.
Yeah,
In that way, it's like I was so focused on getting the steps right and trying to feel it in my body and all this stuff, but literally wasn't breathing.
yeah,
And the second I did, it changed the way I danced. It changed the way I felt in a moment. And I think, like, honestly, had I found a hope booth well before that, wouldn't have been a problem. I would have been breathing and dancing and feeling and all of the things. Like, and also, like, my mom was a single parent
yeah.
on a teacher's salary in North Carolina.
Mm.
So, we pinched pennies where we could. And I'll be honest, therapy was not high on the list of priorities and things in our household. But if a hope booth had existed, it definitely would have been a really great tool
Yeah,
to process anything I was going through.
yeah,
Um, because I'm also a firm believer that it's not just one thing, right? Like the support you need, or the support anyone needs is probably made up of like three different components, at least in my mind. And so, if as a child, I was relying solely on dance.
Mm,
That make that made my relationship to it um, more charged, right?
yeah.
Or perhaps, how do I say? Because I relied so heavily on it, I wasn't finding those other solutions, or perhaps my needs weren't being met in other ways. But I had the one thing.
Yeah.
But I actually, in my adulthood, I don't. I think it's multiple things. It is, and it starts with community. Like it really, really. I always go back to that, and it's like
Yeah.
your circle of friendship. It doesn't have to be huge. Like you don't have to have 20 friends. I don't have 20 friends. I can count them on one hand. But like maybe five.
Yeah.
But I,
All you need.
yeah, like it goes back to that. I'm rambling. I don't remember the point of this. You
Right.
gave your girl a space to share, and I was like,
I,
yeah, and here's my thought.
no, I mean, I think
Mm,
what you're hinting at is so important because what you're saying is mental health care has to be holistic. There's not a
yeah,
one puzzle piece fits all, but I think oftentimes we can be overcome and especially when you're newer to understanding mental health, all you think is therapy is the only solution. But I'm realizing
right.
there's a lot of non-clinical approaches that can be helpful, even if it's as simple as learning to breathe, diving into
Yes.
dance, journaling, building a rich community where you can be authentic and vulnerable with
Mm-hmm.
different elements that I hope people recognize are important. And that's even part of why in the Hope Booth in our support system, when we're connecting people to local help and support, we look at it from a very holistic standpoint. So we can connect people to a shelter because sometimes it's not a chemical imbalance. Sometimes someone
Right.
doesn't have a home. They don't have
Mm-hmm.
to lay their head at night. Or sometimes someone doesn't have food. So we try to connect them to a local food pantry.
Right.
Sometimes it's because someone doesn't have a job. And so there's so many different things that we try to connect people to because we understand what causes mental health struggle and issues. Firstly, is knowing and feeling as though you're alone. This is impossible. We cannot overcome. And then two,
Right.
when you don't feel like you have way power in any capacity, you can't find
Mm-hmm.
a solution, you can't find an answer. And oftentimes, what we need is connected to the people around us, and we don't even know
Mm-hmm.
it sometimes. And so that's
Yeah.
part of our hope when we think about accessibility. At the core of everything we're building is this idea that support shouldn't be a privilege. It should be something that everybody has access to. And I think that's just so important. It's so important
Yes.
as our culture continues to shift and change and things are getting strange and weird and heavy and everyone's
Yeah.
struggling. And I'm like, we have to turn to each other. We are better together.
Yeah.
And so I'm curious, one of the things we're learning consistently with our science board,
Mm-hmm.
our brain cognizes our voice better than our thoughts. And so
Oh,
it's amazing. Science is amazing and fascinating. So
yes, it is.
what science
Science for the
tells
people.
what science tells us is that we can think something and our brain doesn't register it as quickly as if we speak something. And this is, where the concept
Ah,
of affirmations or declarations comes in. And this is why even
yeah.
in Hope Booth, we incorporate that. We
Mm-hmm.
tell people, say these words out loud. It doesn't, you don't have to shout it from the rooftop. But once you speak it out of your mouth, not only does it hold power in that moment, your brain registers it and it has the ability to shift your internal chemistry to believing the truth about who
Hmm.
you are. So I'm curious in this season of your life, Ariana, what is the one truth that you feel like you need to say out loud?
Oh, that is a big question. That's a big question. Oh, the one truth that I need to say out loud
About yourself.
about myself. I am new.
Mm.
I am new every day. That actually is the one truth I need to say out loud about myself. Um, and I have to remind myself that every day. Every day is a new day,
Yeah.
and every day is a chance to do it differently, you know? Keeps me curious,
Yeah.
which is great. You know, it's like being on a new adventure. But I
Yeah.
suppose that's probably that's my truth right now, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
What
love it.
about you?
Oof, man, it is a big question.
It's a big question.
I think the one that has been resonating most with me right now that I know I need to say is I am safe.
I am safe. I am safe. Yeah.
This is where I'm like, oof, like, am I safe to open up? Am I safe to be authentically me? Am I
Mm,
a Black woman in these spaces where every other nonprofit leader doesn't look like me? Am I safe to show up as I am? And I'm learning more and more every day. I am safe.
safe. Yeah.
I'm safe to
Oh,
be
I love.
to say how I feel. And I think there's so much power in those words because it's like once you say it, it's like the weight that's been holding you down just suddenly it lifts,
Yeah.
and you just start saying it and then you start chanting it. You're like, I am safe. I am.
I am safe and I am new. I am a sparkle unicorn.
You
Like
start to really
you believe it. You believe it, which you should. Like and
powerful.
I love that. I love that as a truth. I am safe. And that is something I work on for myself too.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And just
It's a
building a
good one.
community of people that you can trust. That is
Yeah.
probably been the most monumental thing in my life is building the community of people. Just like you said, you may not have 20 friends, even if it's just 3, 4,
Yes.
5 that you can turn to. You don't have to perform for. When you are struggling, you can turn to them. When you're not
Yes.
struggling, you can show up for them. That's the beauty
Yes.
of community is we're there for each other. I
Yeah.
absolutely love. Well, I want to close
Mm.
because I know someone's going to watch this and they're going to need to hear it. But for the person who's watching this right now, they've been enjoying as we've been kikiing and laughing, good time, shouting affirmations from the top of our lungs. For the person who's watching and is struggling quietly right now, they haven't told anybody yet, and they're hoping to maybe find an answer even on this video as we're recording. What would you want to say to them right now?
I if you are listening, if you can hear me, it is okay not to be okay. It is okay to ask for help. You are not alone and you do not have to do this alone.
Yeah.
And your your greatest step will always be the next one you take. Like, yeah.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Thank you so much, Ariana, for sharing.
Oh,
That's ultimately exactly why we built Hope Booth, that people would be reminded they're not alone.
you
There
are not alone.
is hope. This is not the end. And we always say on our team, you have survived 100% of your hardest days. So you've got a
Yes.
great track record already, and you can keep going. You will make it through. And
That's
that's
what makes Hopo so exciting. I'm like,
what this
I want the world to be in connection with this mantra, with this ideology. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, I mean, and this is why May matters so much to us because we're in the
Yes.
middle of a movement. Literally, we call it the movement.
The movement,
The
which movement is life in my book. I am here for it.
like,
Yes.
I mean,
I
this is why we established the movement, which is our community of monthly donors who make it possible for us to bring Hope Booth to more people, more cities, more lives. We just installed a Hope Booth this past weekend in Oklahoma City,
so
and
exciting. Congrats.
really incredible. That's the 39th installation. And right now we have a
That's
goal
cool.
of 1,000 members to join the movement by the end of this year. Because 1,000 people saying yes means 100 installations over the next 2 years and
Very
9.2
cool.
million people every year
Mm,
access to real immediate support, whether it's at a school, an airport, a grocery store, a prison. That's our goal. That's our hope. And
mm.
as we continue building the movement, we have made a really bold and audacious goal, but we also have said, you know what, we're going to use 100% of every dollar that comes through the movement specifically towards building, installing, and maintaining Hope Booths. So it doesn't go
So
towards
cool.
anything else because we really want to see the mental health numbers shift. You know, I'm not okay
Hmm.
seeing 900,000 people losing their life to suicide every single.
Yeah. No, it's unacceptable.
It's unacceptable, but guess what? We have a solution. We're no longer
We
wondering what do we do. We have a solution, and we want to invite you to be a part of it. just as Ariana is going to be pointing
Yes,
people
please.
all month long to be a part of the movement and to join us in this work. So you can find us at hopebooth.org/Ariana or at the Hope Booth. We invite you to come be a part of the movement, not just one day, but today. Let today be
Let today be the day.
let today be the day. But thank you guys so much for joining us. Ariana, thank you so
Yes.
much for sharing your story. You really are incredible.
Oh, you're so sweet. You are incredible. I just like literally, I'm like, I know you're interviewing me, but I'm just so like, I could listen to you talk. I could listen to you read the phone book if you wanted. Like, you're so fabulous. And I'm so grateful to you and your team for
oh,
this work and for putting more light and hope into the world. And I will happily be your hope warrior any day of the week. Like, let's go.
let's go. Let's do this. Our slogan is pioneering a movement where no one goes unseen. And so
That's exactly what it is.
committed to right now. Thank you all so much for joining.